Roads, as we have already proven through the thousands of stories, are the settings for some of the most terrifying stories people can tell. And today, we will see that. This story came to me through a mutual friend, and as soon as I heard it, I knew that I had to ask permission to share it with you. It takes place on La Rumorosa, one of the most dangerous roads in Mexico, a slope between the mountains full of rock formations between the cities of Tecate and Mexicali in Baja California. Full of the extremely sharp curves, difficult to navigate even for experienced drivers, and currents of wind that sneak through the canyons and can even take cars off the road to end up at the bottom of its deep ravines. Anyone who visits the place can stop at one of the multiple rest areas and look down to see the junkyard, a witness to the danger of the place. This road is home to multiple legends of apparitions, especially seen mainly by truckers and drivers who cross the place at dawn. There are even stories of sightings of unidentified objects and strange creatures. There is much to say about this place, and some of it may or may not be true, but what we are sure of, what I can assure you, is that being there makes you feel surrounded by an energy that is difficult to explain. Let's go then to La Rumorosa in Baja California. Hello everyone. This story happened a few years ago to a person very close to me, practically from my family, who was dedicated to transporting merchandise in both trailers and smaller trucks. His life was being behind the wheel. The story I share with you begins on an occasion when he had to carry merchandise in one of these medium trucks from Tijuana to the city of Mexicali. It was night, but there wasn't much product to carry, so on this occasion he couldn't go in a caravan with other drivers as he usually did. No, this time he would have to drive alone. It's a short journey. There is no big problem in doing it, even crossing La Rumorosa, that road before going down to the Laguna Salada desert. It had been a good hour. He left with the last light of day, and at 9:00 p.m. he was passing through that place. Something was never a good sign then happened. The truck started rattling as it descended the course of La Rumorosa, and he knew he had to stop before continue further along the dangerous path, even with a vehicle in the best condition. He found the rest area to turn off his truck. When he checked it over, he realized it would be impossible to continue. He wouldn't make it to Mexicali. So he called by radio to report to his colleagues. They confirmed that a tow truck would be coming out there, but the only one that could handle the truck would take more than 3 hours to arrive. They asked him to wait there and follow the protocol. This consists of locking himself in the truck and not opening it to anyone for security reasons. Perhaps the cold of that night made it seem more desolate. Perhaps it was that wind that froze the skin when it touched it. There were practically no other vehicles circulating there. According to the protocol, he could not accept help from anyone who stopped to ask if everything was okay. Oh well, he thought, I'll have to wait until they arrive. After a while he started to get bored. He started to feel sleepy and lay down along the seat with his head towards the passenger seat. Who knows how long he had been asleep, lulled by the sound of the wind coming between rocks of that mount. He woke up when someone knocked on the window. He sat up quickly to see an old lady leaning against it, talking to him. Boy, are you okay? Boy, are you okay? He couldn't see her face clearly, It was very dark out there. The woman kept knocking insistently and he was on alert. He was a little scared. The first thing he thought of was that many stories he had heard of how lids been robbed, and of course, this could be a trap. Why was an old woman of that age there, in the middle of the mountain, on a night like that? He told her very seriously not, that she should go, that he was fine and couldn't open the door for her, that help was on the way, but as he said it, he realized that the woman wasn't right up against the window. She was no longer standing on the truck's tip. It wasn't a trailer, but the truck was still too high for someone to be banging on the window. The woman must have been very, very tall. He started to feel very nervous. The cold started to feel more intense. The only thing he wanted was for this woman to go away. So he lowered the window slightly, so she could hear him, so she could realize he was asking her to leave. He says it was barely a crack, not even a full centimeter. However, the woman did not back away. On the contrary, she came closer to put her fingers through the window, through that small crack left. The frightened poor driver shrank back, and the next thing, what I'm going to tell next, he doesn't quite know how to explain. Even today, he doesn't know if it was the terror he felt, if it was just imagination, but he saw the woman's fingers lengthening like a branch, reaching down to find the door lock. He could only cry in fear, a feeling he had never experienced before. He cried and shrank it back on the other end of the truck cab, but without even thinking of getting out and running away. He closed his eyes. He only just closed his eyes. Suddenly, he heard the truck honking its horn as they often do when they see a colleague on the road who may need help. But he didn't have the strength to open his eyes and look out to run towards it and ask the driver to stop. He just kept his eyes closed, hoping it was all a nightmare. He didn't open his eyes until he heard a familiar voice at the window. One of his colleagues was looking in, hours later motioning to him that the tow truck had arrived. He reacted. He came out of the trance. He didn't know how much time it passed. Looked out to see that it was all real, and yes, his colleague was there with the tow truck driver. He hugged them, thanked them for being there, told them something terrible had happened, that a woman, a ghostly old woman, trying to get in, that she had wanted to take him away. Somewhat incredulous colleagues tried to calm him down. This deep down they believed it was just a bad dream he'd had on that lonely road. They decided to continue on their way to Mexicali to take the truck. They advanced slowly, so at rest stop already in the desert before reaching Mexicali, they decided to stop for a moment to smoke. There were several truck drivers resting at the place. They greeted them as many were acquaintances, since the driver was pale. When he arrived, the others asked if everything was okay, if he had had an accident or something. He had no choice but to recount what had happened, what he'd seen on the road. The other truck drivers felt silent. They looked at each other until one dared to speak. "So, you are the one with the truck that was stopped halfway down. It's just that a while ago, a colleague who arrived very frightened was resting here. He stood for a while until he could come down to continue his way. He told us that when he was coming down, he saw a woman trying to get into a truck stop at the rest area. a very tall woman who had got legs. The poor guy can only hunt and flash his high beams to her. The woman turned to look at him, and he accelerated despite going downhill. He didn't know if she went after him, but he accelerated as if she had. An old man who was here told him it was the Witch of La Rumorosa. We have never seen her. That poor driver who saw her up close and the rest. Those men who lives on the roads felt very afraid, but it didn't stop them from continue to travel that road at any hour necessary, even in the early morning. Ours all do. Yes, always did the utmost caution and under no circumstances stopping at those rest areas after midnight stopped them from continue to travel that were necessary even in the early morning hours.